Hello and welcome back to the My First Marathon podcast, where usually we're interviewing runners in all stages of their running careers about their first marathon experiences, but today we're back with another Wednesday mini episode. Today we're going to be covering phase 2 of the My First Marathon Buddy program, which focuses on weeks 10 to 15 of marathon training. I'm going to be giving you 5 actionable things that you can be doing during week 10 to 15, so without further ado, let's jump right in. All right, welcome back. This is the middle of your marathon cycle. I like to describe this part of marathon training as a little claustrophobic, meaning like you're far enough into training that there's no way that you're quitting now, like you've done so much work up to this point, but the finish line still feels really far away. Your long runs are starting to push you out of your comfort zone, but you still have a lot of long runs ahead of you. And for some of you, that might feel really exciting, right? Like building a new milestone every weekend, but for others, that might feel more like, are we there yet? Like, this marathon training thing is taking a long time. I will just call this out at the top of this episode. Weeks 10 to 15 can feel a little weird. Today, I'm going to walk you through 5 things to keep in mind as you head into this stretch, whether this is your first or your 5th marathon. All right, first things first. The first thing is to stop treating your long runs like a test and start treating them like practice. By this point, you're probably running 12, 14, maybe 16 miles, and it's going to be really easy for you to start to grade yourself. If you're a beginner, you might finish a long run and immediately be thinking, that if that felt hard, how the heck am I going to run 26.2 miles? If you're more experienced, you might start comparing your splits to previous training cycles and wondering if you feel behind. But at the end of the day, these long runs are not auditions for race day or comparisons to past performances. They are rehearsals. You're practicing pacing, you're practicing fueling, you're practicing staying calm when things start to feel uncomfortable. The goal here is not to prove your fitness. The goal is to build sustainability and a rock solid mindset. Which leads me directly into the second thing. It's time to make sure that we're dialing in your fueling plan now and giving yourself plenty of runway to practice it. If you don't feel like you've quite nailed fueling yet, that is okay. This is the time to continue to experiment. You want to try different gels, practice the timing of those gels, and see what your stomach can tolerate. Now, after week 15, that's where we want to start to have things really dialed in, but in 10 to 15, this is a great time to continue to experiment. If you're more experienced, you might know what gels work on your stomach, you might know what works best for you, so this is actually the time where you want to start to refine your approach. Are you actually taking enough carbs per hour? Are you practicing race day timing intentionally on every run? Are you training for the race ahead of you, or are you just doing what you've always done because it feels fine? Whether you're a beginner or you're more experienced, fueling is not just about surviving race day. It's about supporting yourself on each run well enough to handle the run and take you into the next week of training. Which brings me into my third thing. Protect your recovery like it's part of the plan. At this point in your cycle, the fatigue is cumulative, right? You might not feel completely wrecked all of the time, but you are carrying more load than you were 6 weeks ago. Beginner runners sometimes think that soreness means they're doing it right. Like, if I'm sore, that means I'm working really hard, and marathon training is working really hard, right? On the other hand, more experienced runners sometimes push through the subtle fatigue cues because, quote unquote, this is just how marathon training fuels. But whether you're a beginner or you've been doing this for a long time, both groups, I think, need the same reminder. Focus on the things that help you recover. That's sleep, eating enough, taking your rest day, etc. And if you need more motivation, if you do not respect recovery in this middle block, the back half of the cycle can really catch up to you. And when fatigue starts to build, that's when doubt usually starts to creep in. So take your recovery seriously. Which leads me to my fourth thing, which is to expect the mental hurdles. Week 10 to 15 is hard. And anyone that tells you at the beginning of marathon training or middle marathon training or wherever you're at, that marathon training is not going to be hard is doing you a disservice. Marathon training should be hard, and you should know that going in. That said, weeks 10 to 15 are notorious for this mid-cycle sort of spiral. I talked about the claustrophobic feeling, for example. Beginners might suddenly start to question everything, why the heck did I sign up for a marathon in the first place? Am I actually capable of doing this thing? More experienced runners that have proven to themselves they can do it might start calculating race pace projections and convincing themselves they're behind, things like that. Like we said in the beginning, you are deep enough into the plan that the initial excitement maybe has worn off a little bit, but you're not close enough to race day to feel that finish line pull and excitement yet. So instead of interpreting doubt as a red flag, I would invite you to try and see it as a sign that you are in the thick of it and you care about this goal an awful lot. This is where confidence is kind of built quietly in the background. It's not going to feel the most obvious. It's just going to quietly build as you continue to show up for yourself. So when doubt arises, it's not anything to be necessarily concerned about. It's just something to recognize, note down, and keep moving forward. Which brings me to our fifth and final thing to watch out for in this period of training, which is to zoom out. It is so easy in this part of the marathon cycle to judge your entire marathon based on one long run, one off day, one workout that didn't click, whatever you want to do. If you're a beginner, one rough 15 to 17 mile can feel catastrophic. You're these runs really matter. And if you're experienced, one slightly slower tempo or not hitting your paces can feel like you're regressing back. But marathon fitness is cumulative. It layers on top of each other. It compounds. It builds through consistency, not perfection on every single workout. I know I've said this a million times, but when you're in a race and things get really hard, you never remember the runs that go well. You remember the runs where it didn't go well. That's where you build experience and confidence. So if you're at this point in marathon training, I would invite you to zoom out. Look at the weeks that you've already stacked. Look at the durability that you're building. Look at how much stronger you are now than you were at week 1. Weeks 10 to 15 are not about proving anything. They're about continuing to show up. That's all I have for you for today. If you've missed it, the My First Marathon Buddy program is live, and each phase covers a specific weekend training from week 1 to week 20. So if you like actionable insights like this, please make sure you join the community at school.com/myfirstmarathon. That's school, SKOOL /myfirstmarathon. You can join the community for free and choose to upgrade your membership if you want to take on the 20-week course. Thanks so much for joining me. We'll see you next week.